PowerBoat Television is brought to you by Yamaha, revs your heart. Ford F-Series, smart, tough, capable. And Cruisers Yachts, manufacturing world-class boats.
Well, we're up early this morning, and it's a little bit chilly. We're on Lake Simcoe. We're gonna go and pick up Drew, and I haven't told him what we're doing yet today, but I did tell him to bring his golf clubs. And if you've boated on Lake Simcoe, you'll know that it's fairly well developed, which means there's lots of places to go with your boat, but not that many places to go on shore. If you've ever heard of Friday Harbor, you'll probably think it's a condominium development, and you'd be right, but it is also so much more. So, we're gonna surprise Drew, pick him up, and show him what's going on at Friday Harbor.
John wouldn't tell me where we're going today or what we're doing. He just said to meet him here at the Barrie Harbor and to bring my golf clubs, and that was all I needed to hear. Hey, there he is.
Hey! Welcome to downtown Barrie.
Sweet ride.
Thanks to our friends at Pride. Little Sea Ray 230 SPX.
Love it.
It was a bit chilly this morning, but it's supposed to warm up this afternoon, so
I hope it does. I'm ready for some golf.
You want to drive?
I would love to.
Sweet. I drove her here. She's pretty sweet.
You got that? I'll grab the ropes.
Ropes? Oh, you're fired. Pretty cool boat, eh?
Yeah, it's a sweet little ride. But you didn't bring me out here to Simcoe just to show me the boat, did you?
Nope.
All right, so you're gonna tell me where we're going?
Nope. But I'll show you.
All right.
It's kind of a surprise.
I'm ready to be surprised.
I mean, where do you go on Lake Simcoe?
There's not many spots, right?
The body of water is great. It's the largest inland lake in Ontario. But from a boating perspective, there's not really a lot of places to go to shore. Today, I want to show you somewhere where you can get off the boat.
All right, I think I know where we're going, but I can't wait.
Since this was Drew's first trip to Friday Harbor, he had to go for the 5-ticket ride, the full-blown tour. Friday Harbor is Lake Simcoe's newest destination, and there's no shortage of things to do here. Not only does Friday Harbor accommodate transient boaters like us, they offer weekly and seasonal slip rentals as well. But what makes this place truly unique are the year-round waterfront townhomes and condos with boat slips right outside your door. And there is so much going on here, there is never a shortage of things to do. You can boat, paddle, bike, or walk your way around the boardwalk to the many shops, restaurants, and various activity centers around the harbor. We were met by the dock staff, which really felt like valet parking. They were going to fuel up and moor our boat for us while we got some fuel of our own. The boardwalk is always busy with activities, festivals, and events. And there are way too many options when it comes to food, but we eventually decided on Fishbone. Felt like the right choice for this waterfront adventure.
I have to admit, Friday Harbor has blown me away. After lunch, we decided to divide and conquer. Without wasting any time, John went to explore some of the new trails through the forest, which seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to digest my lunch while taking a closer look at the Sea Ray SPX 230. The last time we tested the Sea Ray SPX 230, it was the outboard-powered version in Florida. Today we're running the stern drive with a 4.5-liter V6, and that means we've got my favorite drive, the Bravo 3. There are two things I absolutely love about the Bravo 3. Number one, it's got great low RPM grunt. Excellent out of the hole shot and even better around the dock. But number two, I love the way this thing turns. I can pitch it right up on its side, and it is virtually impossible to ventilate the prop, which is great news if you're using it for water sports or anything like that. With its deep V hull and sleek Sea Ray lines, this is a great-looking day boat that's a blast to drive. We hit a top speed of just under 42 miles per hour and cruise best around 26 at 4,400 RPMs. The 250 horsepower Mercruiser gives you plenty of power for water sports or just a smooth cruise in open water. At 23 feet 6 inches in length, she's super easy to handle and dock. In theory, the stern drive should take up more space in the cockpit than an outboard would, but the engine is cleverly hidden under a nice big sun pad. That means there's still plenty of space on board for up to 13 rated human capacity, with an impressive amount of storage, because the SPX 230 gets everything it can out of its 102-inch beam. And what Sea Ray's done with that beam is push it just about as far forward as they can to give us tons of space back here in the cockpit. 2, 4, 6, 8 people can fit back here comfortably, and this is just a 23-foot boat. With the arena seating, it's got a really nice social atmosphere. And it's functional, with storage under both port and starboard benches, and space for a full-size cooler under the aft bench. And it's obvious, of course, but another point for the stern drive is the full swim platform, which, if I was going to be using this boat for a lot of water sports, I would definitely opt for that package. Now, this boat doesn't have it, but you can see by the cutout that without the outboard, you can add on the optional swim step. The sun pad also flips up into a nice, comfy, aft-facing lounger. The portside walkthrough again shows how well space has been used in this boat, with battery access and a storage compartment in the floor, additional storage in the step, and the battery switch hidden in the portside gunnel with, you guessed it, more storage. Sea Ray uses premium upholstery throughout for a beautiful quality fit and finish, which is maybe best displayed at the helm. The modest but elegant design lays everything important right at eye level, with Bluetooth audio controls within reach. The twin bolstered bucket seats for the captain and co-captain are protected by a sleek wraparound windshield, and a nice size head compartment in the portside console is a surprising feature on a boat this size. The bow is deep and roomy, with space for a few to face forward or aft, with comfy back cushions and tons of freeboard with either option. Storage under each bow bench with an anchor locker up front shows more smart use of space, with deep in-floor compartments for skis, dock lines, and fenders all up the center line. Overall, the stern drive version of this boat pulls off just about everything its outboard counterpart can, with an incredibly fun extra punch thanks to that Bravo 3 drive. If you're looking for a great family day boat, give the SPX 230 a good hard look.
This is the 2020 Princecraft Brio 17 Electric. This is the 2020 Princecraft Brio 17 Electric. Now, believe it or not, for Princecraft, this boat's been around since 2011, but recently it's becoming much more popular.
Brios come in two sizes, a 15-foot version and this 17-foot version. They may be small, but remain functional with many of the features found on larger pontoons, including 3 lounges, plenty of storage space, and even a stowable pedestal table. Now, even though the Brio is only 17 feet long, check out the size of the forward platform. I know some bigger pontoons that don't have this much space up front. Not only does it have a forward platform, but it has an aft platform as well. So access to the water can be had from either side of the boat. This boat's powered by a Torqeedo 2.0R, which is equivalent to about 5 horsepower. Top speed is a blistering 5 miles per hour. But this boat is almost dead silent. In fact, the water makes more noise than the engine. What's a little bit tricky to get used to is when you put it in reverse, there's no clunk whatsoever. You're just turning an electric motor backwards. One thing I really like about the Torqeedos are their controls. They're fairly intuitive. They're going to show you battery voltage, speed over ground by GPS, which is more accurate than just prop speed, and of course your wattage. And this really helps control the range of the battery. And because it's calculating speed over ground by GPS, it's going to give you a fairly accurate range on how much time you've got left in the batteries. Now, the Torqeedo 2.R may only be the equivalent of 5 horsepower, but electric motors have a big advantage over gas.
They produce maximum torque at 0 RPM, so acceleration for a little 5 isn't all that bad. Hope you're hanging on. Now, electric motors really aren't about top speed, they're about efficiency and how quiet you can bomb around a lake. If your lake has restrictions against gasoline engines, well, you can run the 17 Brio on that lake. Now, it's also interesting that wide open, the controls will show you we're burning about 1,800 to 1,900 watts of power, and we're getting close to 5 miles per hour. But what's interesting is if you back off to 1,000 watts, about half the power, we're still cruising along at 4.5 miles per hour. So even with half the power applied to the motor, you're getting about 80% of the top speed, and that really increases the range.
While these pontoon features are great, it is Princecraft's packaging of the electric propulsion system that is driving the most recent demand. This comes as no big surprise considering the growing popularity of electric cars. But there are challenges on the water that the land-based electrics don't have to contend with. Most notably, the power it takes to get a boat on plane. But if you're happy with cruising at displacement speeds, there are some advantages to electric propulsion on the water.
But there's one thing I'd like to see in the future, be a little button or control to add wattage in 100-watt increments. Right now, we're running just under 500 watts, and we're pulling 3.5 miles an hour. Now, that's a quarter of the total power and about 60% of top speed. And just listen to how quiet it is.
The standard Brio package with the Torqeedo 2.0R provides space for 2 lead-acid batteries, and you can work with your dealer on a variety of AGM options.
The battery bank on the Brio 17 Electric is lead-acid. There is not a lithium option.
This Brio was equipped with 2 extra batteries for a total of 4 AGMs, which we're told will provide about an hour and a half of runtime at wide open throttle, or about 4 hours at a cruising speed of 4.4 miles an hour.
If you need a little more power, the Torqeedo 4.R is also available, and it's the equivalent of 9.9 horsepower. But it only gives you about 1 extra mile an hour and cuts your range almost in half. So the most popular model is the Torqeedo 2.0R. It's the least expensive and has the best range. The solar panels are an option and not an inexpensive one at that. And if you're expecting them to keep the batteries charged while you're running the boat at speed, it's not going to happen. But if you're in a remote location and you don't have easy access to power, they could be a handy option.
Sure, there are some limitations with such a restricted speed. For one, you wouldn't want to take this boat out on a large body of water, where the wind could pick up a swell large enough to challenge the Torqeedo to make any headway. This boat is for cruising small lakes virtually unnoticed.
And I think this is just the beginning. In fact, the future is probably really, really bright for EVs. So who is this boat for? Well, it's not for someone on a large body of water. But if you're on a smaller lake and you want to keep a lower profile or you don't want to burn any gasoline, the little Brio Electric could be just the right pontoon for you. We're going to install a wireless man-overboard system that will not only warn you if someone fell off the boat, but it will kill the engine at the same time. Safety is always a priority when down by the water, and your #1 safety device, of course, is the PFD. But what do you do if somebody falls overboard? Well, today's project, we're going to install a wireless man-overboard system that will not only warn you if someone fell off the boat, but it will kill the engine at the same time. Now, the base pack comes with everything you need to get rolling. Inside, we've got an X-fob, the hub, and battery, and the wiring you're going to need to install to your kill switch. It even comes with a few little butt connectors. The X-hub will hook up to 4 different fobs, so you may want to pick up one of these handy wristbands, and you can add additional fobs as you go.
Before we get started, we make sure to turn the main battery switch off so that nothing shorts during the install. Next, we want to consider the mounting location of the X-hub on the console. It should be easy to reach and see for arming fobs, but not too close to any RF transmitters.
Ultimately, we've decided a spot just behind the wheel on an angle that's easy to see, easy to engage, and easy to restart. And we've got to get access to the back of the instrument panel. Now, what we're looking for is the kill switch, which you can see right here. The man-overboard system simply plugs right in line with the existing kill switch. The wiring's fairly simple. You've got a red for positive and a black for negative that go to the ship's accessory system. We're going to put a 1 to 3 amp fuse in between them. And for the kill switch, we've pigtailed in another set of leads that run to the X-hub wiring harness. And basically, we're running this system in parallel to the existing kill switch. So we've retained the existing kill switch leads, but we've just pigtailed in a set of leads that run to the harness. Once you've got that together, we basically just plug it back in, and we're ready to start cutting holes. Now, Fel Marine recommends a 2 1/16 inch hole saw bit, which is 52 millimeters. We couldn't find one. We're going to cut a 2 1/8, which is much more common, 54 millimeters. There should be enough space on the hub here to cover the hole.
Before I press a hole saw to the gel and glass, I like to tape the area off. In my experience, this, along with a light touch, helps avoid chipping the gel.
Let's do some drilling.
Drilling fiberglass always makes a mess, so I try to vacuum at the same time where possible. Just don't let your better half catch you using the $500 Dyson. Wait, this is on TV, isn't it? The moment of truth. As long as you've drilled the right size hole, the X-hub should slide right in.
Now that we've drilled our hole and secured the X-hub to the console, we've just got to plug in the wiring harness and the antenna. And you want to make sure the antenna is at least 10 centimeters away from anything electronic. And it's flexible, so if you have to bend it out of the way, you can. It'll bend up to 45 degrees.
Convenient wristbands and lanyards are sold separately from the fobs, but are designed to fit together easily.
And pairing the devices is really easy. Just hold the pairing down for 3 seconds. Hold the fob button down. So you get a double beep, and you are paired. And once you've got your wristbands paired, you don't have to pair them again. But when you do get on the boat, you do have to arm them so the system knows you're ready to go. Just push the button once, and you can arm each one. Now all 3 are armed and ready to go.
To see how the system works out on the lake, we asked a few volunteers if they wanted to go for a boat ride. This MOB Plus wireless system allows you to connect up to 4 separate fobs at a time.
It wasn't that long ago I was on a boat where the dog went missing on the boat and no one knew where it was. We had to turn around and look. Well, guess where he was? Paddling behind the boat. Good thing he was wearing his own PFD. Now there are 2 ways for these fobs to kill the engine. 1, submerge it in more than 4 inches of water, and 2, if it gets more than 50 feet from the boat, either way, engine will stop. Let's try it out.
This test should be done before you leave the dock for the first time to verify that it stops the engine in the event of an emergency situation.
Now to get the engine going again, you've either got to push this with the person back on the boat or hold the override button for 10 seconds and you can start the engine.
Testing the system at the dock is one thing, but we wanted to know how it really worked out in the lake.
Purely for scientific purposes, we're going to test one of these fobs in action. Sounds like a good idea? Yeah! All right, here we go! Well, there you have it. Worked like a charm. These little X-fobs are fantastic. And you know, for just a few $100s and 45 minutes of your time, you can add a piece of technology that can really change the boating experience. And if you've got pets, you definitely want to know where they are all the time. When they disappear, it's nice to know if they're overboard, the engine stops right away.
You've got all these toys, you've got no space. What do? You leave them floating in the water or up on shore where you'll never use them? Luckily, Dock Edge has the perfect solution with their universal rack. Installation is as straightforward as it gets, and even easier if you get someone to do it for you. Start by spacing the bases apart so they'll cover about 3/4 of whatever you plan to put on the rack and secure them to your dock. Attach the posts and then slide the arms on and line them up with the pre-drilled holes. You can face them forwards over your dock or hang them over the water like we did for more space. You can also attach the whole unit to a wall, inside or outside your boathouse, and they're just as easy to take down as they are to set up. And what I love most is the versatility. These work with kayaks, canoes, and even these cumbersome stand-up paddleboards. The locking straps are adjustable and can hook on either way, but I'd recommend putting the hook with the latch on whatever side is easier to reach. And voila, everything's locked into place. And with how expensive dock space is, look at how much we just saved that easily. here at Friday Harbor, we managed to squeeze in a few more activities before heading home.
You don't have any bubble wrap, do you? He falls off a lot.
We're back at Friday Harbor on Lake Simcoe. While John went to check out the trail system through the property, I finally had the chance to put my clubs to work. While asking about a tee time, I ran into Steve Grass, who's the manager of the Ness Golf Club. And who better to take a golf course tour with than a man whose last name is Grass?
Kind of a unique situation where you can boat in and hop onto a shuttle and make it for your tee time. And we're excited to say that we're up for a few Golf Digest awards, and we've been rated by Score Golf as well. So it's a great Doug Carrick design golf club. Championship 7,100 from the black tees, playing all the way up forward to 4,900 for anyone who's looking for the forward tees. We've kind of infused nature with golf as well. So 1.9 million cubic meters of fill came to create and shape the golf course. And we're really excited to work closely with the town, Lake Simcoe Conservation Authority, and the Audubon Society to create this fantastic piece of property.
It's a different world out there. We're in the marina earlier. We're coming in off the lake, and now we're just completely immersed in nature out here. And you said that 1.9 million cubic meters, that came from the marina?
Exactly. So the marina dredged out 1.9 million cubic meters of fill. It's 200,000 rock trucks. To put it into perspective, they shaped the entire golf course from a farmer's field.
Should we tee one up here, you think?
I think it's a great idea.
We're holding up the course.
While Drew was chasing balls through one end of the forest, I was at the other to meet up with Karen Trottola, Friday Harbor's Marketing and Communications Manager, for a tour of their extended trail system through the property.
Welcome to our nature preserve. This is one of the many things to do. It's 200 acres total, but we have 7 kilometers of walking trails. And so once you get going, it branches off. It's very exciting. The whole resort is 600 acres, so 1/3 of it is dedicated to this nature preserve.
So it'll never get developed?
Never.
Can you bring the mountain bikes through here as well?
Absolutely. So again, we're a 4 seasons resort, so people can come in for just a simple walk. They can come in for a bike ride, a hike, and then in the winter, we actually rent cross-country skis, snowshoes, and fat bikes.
So 4 seasons really is 4 seasons. There's a lot to do in the winter out here.
Absolutely. It's stunning.
Trying to milk every ounce of our time here at Friday Harbor, we managed to squeeze in a few more activities before heading home.
You don't have any bubble wrap, do you? He falls off a lot. I'm going for the cruiser.
I'm going with the Norco.
All right. This is awesome. I love this thing. I gotta get one.
We rode some bikes around the boardwalk, shot some hoops, and we managed to stay dry on the paddleboard and kayaks. Needless to say, there is no shortage of things to do here at Friday Harbor. The only shortage was our time.
And if you like boats, you will love Friday Harbor. There are new boats on display from Pride Marine Group, so we had to go sneak a peek. There are transient boaters like us coming and going, rentals, and owner slips filled with just about anything that floats. Whether you are from the local area or out of town, Friday Harbor should not only be on your bucket list, it should be the bucket. There is so much happening here all year round, your bucket will fill up pretty quick.